Huitzilopochtli here. I am going to be reading the Florentine Codex, starting with book one, every single day in order to practice. I'm really tired of the orthography of the the Codex Florentine, and anybody who has ever tried to read the Nahuatl portion will understand what I'm saying. It's the orthography is brutal. Okay, it was one of the first attempts of native people to utilize Latin characters, and Bernardino Sahagún is a Spanish priest. He uh, he and his Nahuatl speakers, they produced these amazing books with a wealth of information. They went around and asked all of the elders, questions about their lives and everything, all the ceremonies, everything they believed in, right? And so it's a wealth of knowledge. Now, a lot of people may wonder, well, why bother reading the learning to read the Nahuatl side if you've got the English side? It's in English, it's in Spanish also. Okay. And so the reason for that is translations are always biased, right? Like translations are always gonna be incorrect in some way or another. But learning to read the Nahuatl side, you're going to get practice. You're going to achieve fluency reading the Nahuatl language, right? And then there's so many more books that are written in Nahuatl that you can then read and understand it in the terms of the language rather than somebody's translation. The thing that really bothers me about this particular translation is this is two anthropologists, Anderson and Dibble. They did a relatively good job, but the publishers apparently asked them to write in a tone of like a biblical kind of tone. So they'll say things like thou and arts and so. But it makes people think that classical Nahuatl is like on par with like Shakespearean English, right? Like it's just so formal and just so different. But that's actually not the case. So I've been studying Nahuatl for 3 years, and I'm at the point where I understand the grammar of it pretty well, and I uh, I practice speaking Huasteca Nahuatl 2 times a week with native speakers, and so I'm able to speak and I'm able to understand and write. Okay, and so when you're learning Nahuatl, one of the really important things is to make sure that you're reading as much as possible. Okay, because the more you read, the more you're gonna notice, like, oh, I know that I learned this word, I know what this word is, right? And that's gonna help you with your retention and also comprehension. And a lot of people don't know this, but the people who like scholars who just study classical Nahuatl, they actually don't know how to speak it or understand spoken Nahuatl, and that's an issue, right? Like that's something that is important for the survival of the Nahuatl language. And so I hope that you'll join me. Also, the other thing, the other reason why I did this is because I was looking around for something like this, where somebody is kind of teaching how to read the book page by page, and it doesn't exist. So I said, well, I'm gonna do it anyways. I might as well record it and help people who are interested along the way. And so here I am. And so I hope you continue with me on my journey. Once again, one page a day over the summer. So we're gonna get started. This is book one. This is called The Gods. Okay, book one, The Gods. This is what the Florentine Codex looks like. By the way, I'm gonna make this available. This is all the Florentine Codex books, all combined, all 12 of them. So it's a pretty substantial document. It's almost 2,000 pages. And I want to make this available for anybody who wants to become a patron, or if you're an existing patron, I'll give you the link so you can follow along. I'm also going to be utilizing what I call the mother load. It's another, this is almost 4,000 pages. These are all of the major classical Nahuatl books by J. Richard Andrews, Francis Cartooten, Joe Campbell, you know, Mikel Lanner, all of the major books are all here. Okay, so I'll be utilizing that as well. And then we've got this. This is the Nahuatl dictionary, very important dictionary. It's very easy to, look up words, and it's very exhaustive. Look, they have all of the times that that word was ever mentioned. So this is a really great tool here. And this website also combines many different sources, and so I highly recommend that as well. So let us begin. The Gods, Book 1. And so this book is just kind of naming all of the gods and just talking about who they are, what they did and those kinds of things. And so to start, it says Inik se amoshli. One thing you'll notice, and the thing that's really hard about the Florentine Codex, oh my God, is that the sounds don't always match what you see. Okay. So like for example, this says amushli. Most people will be like, oh, amushli. But it's actually pronounced amoshli. So this is an O. Why they decided to represent it with the U instead of the O? There's various reasons. Some linguists argue that that's kind of how they heard it, and so that's how they wrote it. But I mean, again, they were just doing the best they can, but their best was not good enough. So we're gonna make it better. So this Inek se amoshli. Okay. This is a quantifier. So anytime you see inik in this context, that means that you're turning, this is the number 1. You're turning the numeral into a quantifier, like a counting. So instead of 1, this means first now. Okay, so this means first book, mostly. So we'll change this into an O. Okay, this is the first book, the first book. For those of you who maybe are still studying classical Nahuatl or are not really familiar with the grammar, I'll throw in the grammar as well. This is mostly means book, but in Nahuatl, it actually means the book. So I just write it like this, the book. So this phrase here actually means the first book. There's a the embedded in each of the nouns. Or more precisely, it's actually it is a book. So in this case, it is the first book. It is the first book. Okay. Onkan means there. Onkan. In modern varieties, you hear onka. There. Okay. Onka means there is something. So if I say, this is a modern Huasteca, if I say onka, onka miak tlacame. Onka miak tlacame. That means that there are many people there. Okay. So the classical just has an additional N, which Huasteca does not have. Okay. There, this is a verb meaning express. There is expressed. There is expressed in teteo. In teteo. This is what they're translating as dioses, as gods. Okay, but Teteo actually means a little bit more than God. I won't get into that right now, but there is expressed that Teteo. Okay. Now this word is very interesting. Uh, Tenewa. Tenewa means it's expressed, right? It's expressed. Also means elected or chosen. Here it's for something to be mentioned or named. Okay, something mentioned, named, praised. So it's like there, and now what? There's a lot of words for speaking. Okay, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. There's Asaniloa, there's Ihtoa, there's Elia, there's a lot of words for speaking, but they all mean something slightly different. In this case, it's not anything like here is written or anything. It's mentioned or named. Okay. And the grammar behind that word is very interesting. Tenewa, this signifies that tenewa is a transitive verb for anybody following along with the grammar. And if we're following with the grammatical construction of the word, it actually means there's a component here. The ten is tently, ten, the lips. And ewa means to rise. And so it literally means you lip raise it, you cause it to depart from your lips. Okay, it rises from your lips. So now what is always going to have like a deeper level of understanding. That isn't always necessary, right? In order to understand. But for those interested, like I said, I'll delve into the grammatical part as well. So here is expressed, here is named the teteo. Okay. So then we have this word here, in kinmotetia, in Nicatlaka. There's a really interesting process here. The root verb here is theotia. So again, probably won't recognize it because it doesn't look anything like it, but I'm gonna write it right here. Theotia, theotia. So they totally butchered that word, right? Kin means more than one, and mo means they're doing it to themselves. Okay. Theotia is the applicative of this other verb called theoti. Theoti means a theot is created, or to become theot is what theoti means. Okay, so theotia here, according to the Nahuatl dictionary, is to take something to be God. But more specifically, what's happening is to create gods for oneself. Okay, um, and so to take something as a theot is what we're looking at. Okay, so the Nicantalaka, you may have heard that word Nicantalaka. Means Nikan means here, and Tlaka. One other thing that's really bad about this orthography in the Florentine and it's endlessly confusing is they do not add glottal stops. I'm gonna write it over here. Tlaka should be written like this. The glottal stop at the end specifies that it's pluralized. Okay, so Nikantlaka, Nikantlaka, if you're speaking, there's a little glottal stop at the end that you're supposed to hear. It's very subtle. If you talk to a native speakers, I had a very hard time trying to hear it because it's very subtle. It's not like um when the glottal stop is in between. Okay, but it's tlaka. And this means the people here. Okay. For a time, maybe about 100 years or so, they use Nikantlaka for to represent native people because it means the people here, literally. So this means that the first book there it is expressed or it is named the Teteo in Kimoteotia in Nicantlaka. Okay, the native people here worship them. Okay, and so you see it here. Whom, right here are named the gods whom natives worship. I don't really like translating Teo as gods in the first place. Not because I don't believe that they believe in gods, but just because it's problematic. It's a Teo, if we're looking at it like as a definition, it just means something extraordinary, right? Something amazing, something extraordinary or amazing. It doesn't necessarily um have a limited meaning that is God's. That's the problem. A lot of people will say, "Oh, that they don't mean gods," and that's it. But that's not right. And I'll show you some examples of that later. But look at what they did to his name. Look at this. Do you even know who this is? Look, Huitzilopochtli. Huitzilopochtli. This is supposed to be Huitzilopochtli. Oh God, I hate this orthography. Here, Inik se capítulo. Okay, so the first chapter. Here they used a Spanish loanword because they didn't have an equivalent in Nahuatl that they could reference. Native people today actually tend to have Nahuatl equivalents. Again, it was just so new. They were just trying to do the best they could, right? So this says in Techpa. Why is there a Y? Jeez, I don't know. But that's in Techpa Tlatoa. And this, ugh, as we go, it'll become a little bit, easier because they use a lot of the same words. But the word tlatoa, as you can hear when I'm speaking it, tlatoa should have an H, a glottal stop in the middle, okay, which this is completely lacking. And so that's problematic. That's another reason why it's hard to speak classical Nahuatl, because it's not written with all of the sounds. So we can't speak it properly, right? If you're just reading it. So let's go ahead and check out in Techpa. I think it's more commonly written as Itechpa, so we'll try that. Okay, so concerning someone or something from. Concerning um what is said. What is said, okay? Concerning what is said is how we can translate that. In Oxenka tlapa naja teteo. And so here you can see, which telleth of the highest of the gods. Okay. Now Senka actually means very much or a lot of. Okay. So Inok Senka and then Ok. That's not the right one. In addition. Okay, in addition to. So in addition to a lot, and then you have Tlapanawa. Tlapanawa. So we'll type that in here. Tlapanawa. Panawa. Panawa. Let's try it with the Tla. Okay, so this is one of the difficult parts, is trying to figure out what this says, right? So there's some hits here. Let's see. Let's see what the Tlapanawa. No hits. All right, so we can't find this. We'll just take the Translation at face value, because that's really all we can do at this point. But hopefully this doesn't happen a lot. But this word will take to mean highest. Okay, they say that in the Spanish version it's principal. Okay, so we can either say the principal teteo or the highest teteo. So basically, a word that means kind of like the very important. Remember, this means very. Okay, so here is mentioned the very important teteo. So they're telling us that they're not going to talk about all of the teteo. There's a lot of teteo, right? There's hundreds of them, but only the principal ones. So we have this word again here, which means to worship. Okay, so we say in kin moteteo. No, that's wrong. Kin moteotia. Okay, kin moteotia. So that's that right there. Okay, so they worshipped whom they worshipped, and this is this is E1, E1. So I'll put it over here. So E1 means and. Okay, why they put it as Yoan, Yoan? Like if I'm reading that, it'll be Yoan, right? But I can understand the concept. I mean the the context, right? And in order to understand what goes where. But okay, so in kin mo teotia, E1 in, and then there's another verb here. Whenever you see kin, that's going to be a verb. So we have kin tla manilia. Kin tla manilia. In, ie, hueca. So this word, E1 in, kitla manilia. Kitla manilia, which is this word. Offer it. It's literally to put something out in front of someone. That's what that means. Okay, so an offering. You're putting an offering for the deal, which is what it says here, right? When they offered sacrifices. Now here is the key that will kind of lead us to again why I'm doing this work in the first place. Explain, right? Because they put sacrifices in there. Why the hell would they put sacrifices if there's no word for sacrifice in the sentence? Now, I'm not a sacrifice denier, you know, but what are they writing that for, right? Like they're appealing to the audience. They're trying to kind of fill in the blanks, right? Because everybody assumes, well, if the Aztecs are offering something, it's gotta be a sacrificial object, a sacrifice of some sort, right? Which we can see in this case, that's not right. Okay. There's no word for sacrifice here. Kin tla manelia, this kin again means just they made offerings to the Tateo. That's it. They made offerings to the. They made paper offerings. They made feather offerings. You know, they made food offerings. They made rubber offerings. Those are not sacrifices, right? And so you got to be very careful when we're reading this. This word they put ancient times. Okay, this V is very misleading. But one thing you want to learn as we're going is that the V a lot of times is going to be the W sound. Okay. And so this Veka would be where this is modern orthography right here. Weka. The classical orthography that's a little better than this would be where. So now if you're familiar with the language, you know where. That means old, right? Where. And then it's the kawit. The kawit means time. So that word weka literally means the old times or the ancient times, right? And so it would be like this. Weka. Weka. Okay, so in Pitlamanalia in ia weka. Sometimes there's these like extra words here. In is just like in can mean a lot of things actually. We'll get into that later, but in this case we say it means in ancient times. This IE, we plug it in. Let's see, like right here. So I don't think that the IE has a meaning on its own. It could be wrong. We'll look at that a little bit later, but as it comes up. But here's another example of weka, weka, like a long time ago. So it could be ancient times, a long time ago. There's actually a lot of difference. Oh, this is it right here. Look. Yeah. That's why it's hard to recognize it because this IE is actually yeah. So see, that is crazy. And apparently the yeah does mean something. Let's see. Yeah means something already. When. Okay, when. So we read it like Inwan, and they made offerings, and whenever they made offerings to the in ancient times. Okay, is how we can read that. The YE. All right, hey, we're halfway done. This is exciting. So this of course is Huitzilopochtli, Huitzilopochtli, not Huitzilopochtli. Okay, san means only. Okay, it's a word that is used widely today. But this, oh, I hate this little thing right here. Whenever you see this C, this little C thing, it's like this. It's got this little hook underneath, whatever that is. I don't know what the hell it is, but san, that means san. This is an S sound. Okay, S, san. And so that word is actually san, which means only. They're saying Huitzilopochtli is only a Masawali. He's only an indigenous person, Masawali. Okay. A lot of times they, oh yeah, there it is right there. Right on cue. A lot of times they translate Masawali as common, like a commoner, like using like the feudal system, right? Like a commoner that's subjected to the king. Of course, we didn't have the feudal system, so that's slightly problematic as well. Does Masawali in the old times probably mean like just a regular farmer that's not a noble? Yeah, probably, right? But today it actually means indigenous person. Um, but common man is probably, you know, back in those days, a legitimate, definition of that word, Masawali. So Huitzilopochtli, he's just a common man. We see San again, San Tlacat. Tlacat means man, and this it means he was only a common man. He is only a man. He is only because of the sun. He is only a man. And then Katka is this part, the was. Okay, so that's where it's giving us past tense. Katka is a really interesting word that represents the past tense of ka, to be. So was in this case. Okay. Ka is means to be present. Ka. If I say ka, that means he or it is there. It, or she is present. And then katka is the past tense of that. And so we say he was only a common man, he was only a man. Okay. And then we have this word it looks like it's Nahuatl, but that's not right. Let me clear some space over here. All right. Nahuatl is actually Nahuatl. Nahuatl. Spaniards translated that as a witch or a brujo. In this case, they're translating it as a sorcerer. Okay. Um, yeah, so it's saying that he was just a man. He was a sorcerer. Nawali, that's a very Eurocentric definition, right? But I think a better one, like Nahuatl centric definition would be shapeshifter. Okay, the Nawali has the root Nahuatlia, which means to transform oneself, and so that's what the word means. Nawali is the shapeshifter. You know, they can shapeshift into animals, right? They can deceive with their words and so on. So, yeah, kind of like a sorcerer, kind of like a witch, but this is a little bit more precise. Okay, that's how we is something really like something amazing. Here they put it an omen of evil. You see? You see what I'm saying? An omen of evil. Look, that's how we. That's how we. That's how we. An omen, a supernatural omen, a frightening thing, something that causes terror. Okay, and so we. So that doesn't look like it's used in Wastika, but I'll put it here. It's how we. Okay, an omen, a warning, right? Not necessarily evil, just something supernatural, something that can be frightening. That is what they saw, right? So he is something frightening, not an omen of evil. I mean, that's taking it a little bit too far, right? We could say he's something supernatural, he's something frightening, all of that would fit. But omen of evil, I don't know. It's a bit much. Now it says a madman, and that does track here. We have Atlaka, Atlakemele. I don't know if that's going to show up, but we'll try. Oh, yeah, there it is. Um, rebellious, unwise, crazy, also perverted. I can see that tracks because there's an A in front. Okay, when you put an A in front of a noun, that's just saying that it's not that thing. It's the opposite of that thing. So the opposite of a normal man would be a madman, a crazy person, right? So that's what that means right there. A deceiver. This is a very interesting word. Teishkopani. Teishkopani. They have a little side note here, but doesn't tell us anything. Kwepani doesn't pop up. Let's check here. Kwepani. No Kwepani. Ah, yeah, there it is. So is that the right word? No. Teishkopani. Okay, there it is. So this is the word we're looking for. It's here, it's actually the Ishkwapani, but those of you studying Nahuatl grammar will understand that this tla is just replaced with te. So this definition means someone who turns things inside out or falsifies things, right? The things is actually the tla. Tla means things, but they put te, right? So it's teishkopani. Teishkopani. So someone who um, turns people inside out now, not things. It's people, right? Te means people. And so it has a general sense of like, yeah, like a deceiver, like some you're putting them inside out. They're incoherent, maybe they're confused, they confuse you, right? Um, yeah, it's just you're deceiving them. All right, what else do we have here? A creator of war, a warlord, an instigator of war. Okay. So this is Kyokoyani in Yawik, Iatakani, Ia Tlatoani. So I can already tell you that it's probably not pronounced that way. It's probably some Y's in there. So let's go ahead and check and see. Creator of war. Let's see what we can find. I'm going to use this word right here. This is Yaotekani. Let's try this first so we can see what that IA is supposed to be. All right. This is taking a lot longer than I expected. That's all right though. It'll become easier as we go. I have a feeling it's yet. No, yeah. Let's see. Ha. Okay, I figured it out. So yeah, it's you have to kind of think backwards, like what could they mean? Like this is war, 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 right? So what's the root for war? What yao, yao. So this yao is actually YAO. Yao. Okay. Now if we look for warlord in the dictionary, we see some words, right, that are very similar. Yao, yao chihualistli, yao wheat, yao pan, yao ana. And much and these all are tied to war. Okay, so now we have a better idea of what we're looking for. So we have Yawit. I think we saw that. Yawit. There it is. Yawit. So this is war or uprising. Okay, so instigator of war, Yawit. So that means that this word must be either creator. I think it's the creator of war. Okay, the creator of war, and then Yaotekani. Let's see what that is. Yaotekani does not pop up here, but here. Yaotekani. The I at the end, it represents that. It's like a person who does that thing. So we'll just go with it. A warlord, somebody. Wonder if Tekani by itself. All right. Could be one of those obscure words. We'll just say it means warlord. Okay, the creator of war. Uh, a warlord, an instigator of war. This is interesting. It's got Tlatoani, Yao Tlatoani. So you can think about it like, Tlatoani is a ruler, or it doesn't appear, but Tlatoani is a ruler. And so this is saying that a ruler that is warlike, basically, is what that's saying. He's a ruler that is warlike, instigator of war. Like there's a couple in Mexica history, like Huitzilopochtli was Tlatoani, and then Ashayacatl también. They were very famous for starting wars. All right, now going back to this word right here, um, it's tracked as the creator of war, creator of war. So let's type this out so that's understandable. It actually is Yokoyani. Yokoyani. You may have heard Moyokoyani. Moyokoyani is uh, it or he creates himself. Moyokoyani. So it's that same root. I'll type it over here. Yokoyani. Okay, so that means the creator. It's looks like it's a transitive verb, so a transitive verb always has to have an object. So in this case, it's this key in front, the key. And so it's ki yokoyani. Ki yokoyani. And they spelled it really strangely. Like if you look at that, it's looks like it's kiyokoyani. By the way, the J is also an I, believe it or not. It's crazy, right? Why the hell would they put a J for I? I don't know. You know, some of these sounds they were like different back in the 16th century Spanish. Like for example, X is was actually pronounced SH in 16th century Spanish, right? And so it's possible that they were just utilizing the sounds that don't actually exist anymore, right? In Spanish, or they've changed. So this is not Kyokoyani, it's Kiyokoyani, Kiyokoyani. So that one was a tough one. Okay, but that's a Kiyokoyani, Kiyokoyani in Yawik, the creator of war, Yautecani, a warlord, Yautlatawani, an instigator of war, or a ruler that was a warlike ruler. Okay. All right. Ooh, one more paragraph. Wow. We're almost there. Ka. Ka is difficult for me because it's not used in it's not used a lot in Huasteca Nahuatl. So this ka is not this ka. It doesn't mean to be present. There it is. It's this one. So with by means of about um this is actually Huasteca Nahuatl. That's not the right ka either. That's not it. So many kas. Because, since, why, surely, certainly, for. This is the ka. The ka can mean different things. Okay. It's like an introductory, emphatic, causal. So in this case, they're translating it as for. Okay. For itechpa. I don't remember what itechpa was, so let's go back here. Itechpa concerning someone from. Okay. So him, right? It's concerning him, concerning someone. Kai itechpa mitoa. Okay, so for it was said of him, it was said for it was said of him. Notice how the the order of the word doesn't match what I'm saying, right? Or the translation here. Those of you who have read Michelani or J. Richard Andrews will understand why, but basically, word order does not matter much in Nahuatl. So we can say, right, that's ba, mihtoa, or we could say ka, mihtoa, bitechpa. and they both mean the same thing, okay? For it was said of him, this one might feel more natural to English speakers, right? This one scrambles the brain a bit, but it's just a matter of understanding that the order doesn't matter. It just means the same thing, okay? So it said, for it was said, for of him it was said, and here's for it was said of him. You see what I mean? It just means the same thing. So kai techpa mihtoa, kai techpa mihtoa, and then it's tepan kitlasa in Xocoatl. Okay. Um, so they're saying that that means brought hunger and plague. That is war. I think the war part is here. Tlachinoli, Teoat, Yawit, right? So this is war. So they're just saying war 3 different times. Teoat, Tlachinoli. You may have heard like Atlachinoli means war. That's what they're saying here, right? This is like, but then they're repeating it, Yawit, and then they're saying Teoat, Tlachinoli. So that's what they're saying. That is war. So I'm interested in here where it says it has brought hunger and plague. See, this is interesting because I don't think this word means plague. And I don't think this word means hunger. Let's check what tepan means. When someone is already there or afterward. Okay, so when he is already there, I guess we could say when he is already there. So when he is already there, so it is said about him that when he is already there, ki tlasa. Let's see what we can find. Tlasa. Okay, there it is. To throw, to get rid of, throw down, take down, or to hurl away. Let's see what we can find here. Ki tlasa. So according to the dictionary, this is saying that when he's already there, he throws things down or gets rid of them. Here it is. They throw him out of office. Or it could be they lay them. Plaza. Plaza definitely means throw, spear thrower. Guatica in Plaza. Okay, so it's something about throwing. It is thrown. So I don't know, man. I don't know where they're getting this brought hunger and plague. When he's already there, I think, you know what's happening right here? Okay. Let me type it over here. Okay, so it says, Kaitechpa mihtoa ki plaza in, oh, Tepan, when he's already there, when he's already there, he throws the Xiocoatl, the Mamawasli. Okay, so apparently this is It's the famous Difracismo from Miguel and Portilla, where you say two words, but they mean one thing. Like uh Teotihuacan means war, right? It doesn't mean water and fire. So I think that's what's happening here. Hunger and plague is most likely gonna be when he's already there, he throws down in Shokoat. Shokoat is actually his weapon, right? It's his fire serpent that he holds. And Mama Wastley is actually a fire drill. So apparently these together mean hunger and plague. And let's see, I think we might have something here. I don't know, that's my best guess. Let me see if it pops up if I type it here. Okay, they're not here together. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. Because, or you know what? It could be he's throwing down his fire drill. Okay, he's throwing down this is a hand tool for making fire. And he throws down his shokot, which is his weapon. So either it's a difracismo, that means specifically hunger and plague, or it means when he's already there, he throws down his shokot and he throws down his fire drill. And maybe the general connotation is that he's causing like destruction, right? Like he's destroying things, is how we might want to look at that. All right. So au is end. Au is end. Let's see. So particle end. Yeah, but well, it's a new thought. Okay, well, um, in equac, au in equac means when. Okay, and when equac, if you type it, it's got a glottal stop in there, so it's equac is how it should be, but they put a Q and a J, equac. Okay, and when, and then ilwi is from the word ilwit, and it does mean feast. Okay, so we're saying that this is a feast day. Ilwi, ilwi kish tiloa. Okay, ilwi kish tiloa means the feast day was celebrated. So this is the same verb, mambikoa. No, it's similar, but mambikoa, let's see. Mambikoa. No. Hmm. Okay, so I can't find anything related to this Iwikishtiloa or Manmikoi Koea. So we're just gonna have to stick with their translation. This word Iwikishtiloa apparently means the feast day was celebrated and when the feast day was celebrated. And then this apparently means captives were slain. Let's see if we can find the word for captive. Sometimes we can make progress with the English. Yeah, there it is. Mamaltin is captives. Okay, so Goa The captives were slain. Get rid of this so we can actually see. Okay. Altia. Goa. Slain. Yeah, there it is. Goa. Okay. No, that's eat. Okay, so we'll just take it to mean the captives were slain and they were ceremoniously bathed. Okay. Says slaves were offered up for up. Let's see. Word for slave. Coyot, Lacaya, Lacawa, Lacawa, Iltil. Okay. So these are some very obscure words, apparently. Or so we're saying they were ceremoniously bathed. That one is here, actually. Ceremonially bathed. This is the verb altia. Altia te altia means the people were bathed. But here it says the meaning of the altia is to offer as a sacrifice or to bathe, and those are the sources. And then in Pochteca. Okay, so it's all of this is being done by the merchants, the Pochteca, by the way. Pochteca should have a glottal stop at the end. Pochteca. Pochteca is plural, and Pochteca is singular. So maybe that's how, we can manage without any of the glottal stops. It's just, if you see Pochteca, just understand the H is there. Okay, Pochteca. Pochteca is singular. Okay, so overall, I think it was good, a good translation. I got tripped up here at the end. These are very strange words, but nonetheless, I finished my first page. All right, one page. I don't know how many to go, but follow along if you want to learn. Let me know if you have any questions. Las kamati, tingwetase.